My name's Brent Espy. I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Goes right back on here. Nice sleep dart.
What a sleep dart from Mob.
Heroes never die.
Run low, run low. Get him, Mercy.
How does low?
Oh. Let's go on the tire. Careful, Shatter. I slept it, don't wake.
Zarya's one on.
Damn. Not like this, bro. He's so wholesome. He doesn't even know what he signed up for, bro. He's wholesome. He's too wholesome. Should stream Cuphead tonight, no cap. Watch this, watch this. I'm a fucking D, man. I'm a fucking D.
Okay, thank you for joining us. It's really nice to have you today.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man.
Definitely. Let's go ahead and get started. Can you tell us your username, name, and maybe what people will most know you for?
Alright, my username, you know, of course, it's HookGangGod. And, you know, my real name is Eduardo Deno. And, you know, I'm pretty much known for being the first Piccolo player, the one to bring him out, the one to flesh him out, and, you know, I say I'm the best Piccolo player. So that's what I'm known for sure.
And probably the most notoriously well-gifted Piccolo shoe wearer as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been blessed by Shaq himself to give me some custom-made Piccolo shoes, you know. The stuff like that doesn't come around to any regular Piccolo player, you know. They gotta be the best.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even wear them. I put them up on a wall in a frame and just like hug them sometimes.
Yeah, I absolutely don't wear them. They mean too much to me to, you know, ever try to like mess up anything with them. So they just stay where they are.
They are blessed. Well, for those of you who don't know, Hook was gifted a pair of amazing Piccolo shoes by Shaquille O'Neal. It's amazing on Crackle. We'll link it below. You really got to go take a look at that video. They really did you justice, man. That was a beautiful lead-in. Before we start talking about that, though, what can you tell me about how you got started as a video gamer? What kind of led you to the world of games?
Well, it started off with unfortunate events, you know. It was pretty much, well, from the very start, I've always loved video games, you know, and I've always been playing them since I was young. So ever since then, you know, as I grown up, I was still playing video games over and over. And then I just got attached to fighting games. So I just love the fact of, you know, me being by myself, not really having like someone else to depend on. You know, on shooting games, it's all teams and stuff like that. Well, fighting games is just me versus another person. So, you know, the unfortunate events is basically what led me to even start playing seriously was the fact that I got fired from my last job, literally because I was playing Dragon Ball way too much and I came in too late. That's literally how I got fired. And then the same weekend I went to my first tournament, and that's literally how it all started. I guess it was fate for me to play this game.
It had to be fate. Yeah, so many people have that cliche story, though, you know, like, stop gaming, you lose your job. And, like, you did, and it worked out amazing for you.
Yeah, it was probably the absolute best thing that could have ever happened to me, you know. At first, when I lost my job, I was kind of like, well, I mean, it wasn't really the best job anyway. It was just a movie theater job. So it's not like it was the end of the world. But, you know, I was bummed out because, you know, I got to find something now. I got to, you know, because obviously in my mind, I never even thought I would be in the position that I am with just video games, you know. It's always been a dream, but I didn't think it would ever actually happen, you know. That's like crazy.
Absolutely. That's such a huge jump. I mean, you have to have been just like all of your other friends playing lots of games, you know, competing and stuff, to be the one donned with this valuable opportunity. There had to have been something there within you, though, as a competitor. You were already ranked very high online, right? You started as, what did you get up to? Top?
I was, by my first tournament, I probably was already number 2 or something like that.
Number 2.
Number 3, yeah.
Nice.
I've been playing fighting games. I mean, I feel like personally, you know, my streams like that at other video games, but personally, me, I think I'm really good. I've always been good at video games, and fighting games. I feel like this is the one genre of video games where I was like, I really don't like losing in these games. So I've been playing since 2012 fighting games. So ever since then, I've always took it serious. Like, even if it was just an online match, I'm like, I never want to lose, like, ever. So I've always been grinding consistently all the time. And when Dragon Ball came out, that just came right over, you know? So it was always in me I was always competitive from the start, you know?
Yeah, your professional career kind of lines up a little bit with DBZ's release. I mean, you started playing your first real competition maybe 6 months after Dragon Ball Z was first released. What happened in that first 6 months with the game that made you realize that your experience with older games like Persona would translate into Dragon Ball Z? Like, was it the online ranking system, or what kind of gave you that concept that this is doable?
Well, at first, you know, my first tournament, I actually ended up winning that one. So when I first won that tournament, because, you know, as an online player for so many years, you know, you don't really know how good the competition is offline until you actually go. So, you know, when I went, I was like, I might really just lose this. Like, I always win online and whatever, but I might really just go and lose for my first time ever going in. Luckily for me, I won. So after I won, I was like, okay, I mean, it was just in New Jersey local. So, you know, it wasn't the biggest thing ever, but it was my first tournament. To win my first tournament, that was a good accomplishment for just an online guy like me. But once I went to, like, NLBC, which is the one basically that blew me up into where I am now pretty much. Once I won that one, people were just like, or me in general, I was just like, I could actually do this maybe. You know, I won in front of like 10K viewers and stuff like that. People started chanting my name in chat and stuff. I was like, hey, I might actually maybe be able to do something with this. You know, at that point, people were already ranking me like next to like SonicFox. They already wanted me to play against SonicFox, because at that point I haven't lost to anyone in the New York scene. So people were already ranking me pretty high just off of those 2 wins.
I mean, don't downplay that at all. As anybody who follows the fighting scene knows, a lot of the fighters congregate in the Northeast, in the New Jersey, New York area. So to win a fighting tournament there specifically is pretty important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially for Dragon Ball now, it's like, I think New York is definitely the biggest scene when it comes to that game, just because NLBC is such a strong local for just in general, and all fighting games. But for Dragon Ball, I think we definitely have the strongest scene. So for me to have won that, I was like, it's looking good. It's looking good. But, you know, obviously as time went on, you know, then I ended up getting picked up. And that's when I actually knew. I was like, wow, one of my dreams is actually coming true, you know. I'm actually being able to travel now for this, which is something I could have never fathomed when I was working at the movie theater, you know.
Incredible blessing brought to you by all these skills you've clearly got. So you actually got picked up by NRG by June with DreamHack Austin 2018. So we were talking this competition with people cheering you. That was before, right? That was that first 6 months of the game existing?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I feel like I've always been the people's champ. Like, people have always rooted for me. I guess just because, you know, since I was so new, literally haven't ever shown my face to anyone in any scene. So, like, everyone was always rooting for me, like, immediately, just because they wanted, you know, the underdog to always win.
Of course.
And then the fact that I was playing also a character that literally nobody played at the time, which was Piccolo, they even more people wanted me to win. So even before the sponsor, I think I've always been the people's champ. Some people even say I'm like the main character of DBFZ.
Oh, whoa,
much.
Really?
Yeah,
your name has become that notorious. Well, yeah, I've after searching you a little bit online, it's kind of remarkable the type of swell that revolves around you. I mean, when you were walking around Evo in the Sony Crackle episode, people are chanting for you, you know? Like, they're literally calling you, oh, and the People's Champion comes up. Like, the episode of you at the Summit of Power, when you win, the entire place starts chanting your name, which is what threw me off, because you just told a story how before that, before you even on Energy, they had already started chanting your name. when you were winning these small tournaments. What kind of about you do you think made you want to cheer for you? Is it the underdog, or is it maybe part of your gameplay, or what else do you think is there?
I think it's definitely both. It's definitely the fact that I've never competed ever besides this game, and also I feel like the name just stuck really well. Like HookGangGod just rolls off the tongue. Especially I feel like it started at NLBC, which the two commentators, Yipes and Chris Matrix, the way that they said my name, like there was a HookGangGod. Immediately it stuck so fast with the community. And then, I started streaming, people started coming to my chat, and they're like, yo, man, we really like the name. The name is so cool. What does it mean? And obviously I don't tell them, but people have been asking.
Hey there.
She does that a lot. Just jumps on the chair.
Cats love the high back, yeah. So have you ever let people know where HookGangGod comes from?
No, I haven't told. Only my closest friends know what it is. Just because I'm gonna tell you a little secret. The origins has to do with a 5th grade joke. When I was a 5th grader.
A 5th grade.
Yeah, I was in 5th grade when we made up that joke, and it stuck with me. And I probably won't tell anyone ever, probably, because I feel like the mystique around the name also brings a lot of attention. So I don't want anyone to know. I would just want people to guess what it is.
That's genius.
I absolutely don't think anyone will ever guess it. Not even, no, there's no way. Like, there's no way no one will ever guess what my name is. And that's what's funny. So I'm gonna always keep it that way.
Damn, part of me was hoping it was gonna be some like Roadhog pivot, like you played Overwatch secretly for a bit. You're part of like the club. I'm sure there's like all sorts of forms of people trying to figure this out by now.
Yeah, but I mean, the only like little hint is that I made it in 5th grade. So what would a 5th grader, think with my name,
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go do some Googling about dates and stuff. Yeah, how old are you?
Yeah, I don't think it's possible, honestly. If someone does, I should give them a reward. I won't say how much. I might give someone a reward if they actually figure out my entire name.
Yeah, entry into the gang, maybe.
Huh?
Entry into the gang, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'll put them under my wing and teach them some Piccolo or something. Yeah,
right. So you were most notably originally the online player. There's a lot of different issues with an online gameplay that's known because of the things like lag or latency that comes up. How did you find that translating for you with your first IRL competitions, and how long did it take you to adjust?
Oh, well, with my first competition, I mean, it was noticeable immediately. I was dropping everything. I was like, my very first tournament, I wasn't necessarily that nervous, but like I knew the fact that online, that frame, that how do you say it, like the frames of playing offline and online were completely different. It felt like I was playing a different game. I still managed to win, but like I dropped everything. I was doing I almost felt unconfident of doing combos because I felt like I'm really not used to this right now. It took me quite a while to adjust to it, honestly, since my main practice is online still. So pretty much I just had to get used to it. I had to just keep going to NWC every week, go to all the tournaments. Eventually, after a couple months, I started to get used to it. And, obviously all humans drop combos still, but at least I feel like I don't drop it because of the fact that, the frame difference. I feel like if I drop something, I was just, drop something because, humans do that. They drop combos sometimes. But yeah, it's completely different. It's a completely different game for sure.
Were there any tricks to learn it, or was it just exposure to that new frame rate over time?
Yeah, it's just exposure. That's probably the only way, honestly. I don't think there's any way, because even playing in training mode with 0 lag, it's still not the same. I feel like it's the same frame wise, but playing in a real match is completely different. You're actually sitting next to someone, high stakes. It's a tournament, completely different, completely different environment to just being home, So honestly, only experience could have helped that, I feel. And I'm sure that's probably all that I could have done.
Well, experience aplenty. Apparently enough for people to even watch your experience and counter you, like they did at CEO. Apparently, right? So how does it feel to be sniped like that? To have people really look you up and make sure that they know how to counter you? Was it flattering or was it more like disheartening?
I wouldn't say it was disheartening, but more like I guess I could say it was a little flattering because you know at this point like people are watching me because I'm a top level player. You just don't watch people that suck. So I'm glad that people see me as a target that they have to actually pay attention to. So I mean, obviously after that I won Summit. I won Summit before that, so I'm sure I already felt that way that I was already gonna be a target. But for them to look it up, that just solidifies it, I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can't imagine. It's almost like getting stream hacked a little bit with all that extra practice time that people could come in, and now you don't have the opportunity to do to them necessarily because you are a new player. This is your first time through the circuit. Do you think that's given you a disadvantage by comparison to all these people that have maybe played some of the higher level players?
I mean, it's not really much I can do, because like I can't just stop streaming just because they're gonna watch me play. It's just inevitable at this point. So like I kind of just gotta deal with it. Maybe they kind of had an advantage over me a little bit, but I just have to adapt. That's the game. You just have to adapt to the person you're playing against. So I mean, if he did his research on me, I'm sure I'll figure out some way to still win the match regardless.
Yeah, well, with players to play with, or rather, I guess before I make that assumption, I guess I'll preface it with a question. Do you get to practice with Supernoon very often?
Sadly, not as much because he does live literally a coast away from me. I live in New Jersey. He lives in California. But whenever we travel to a tournament, we definitely always run all the casuals like all day. We practice before the tournament because usually they make the brackets so that me and him don't really have to fight each other since obviously we're teammates. So it would be weird if we fought each other for like, obviously it's inevitable sometimes, but not in the beginning. I won't just fight my second match be Supernoon or something like that. So we always play casual so that we're ready for the competition because definitely got to warm up the offline frame rate instead of the online one.
I'm sure he's a good person to pair with, and unfortunately, you did come up against him in Evo. Clearly, it must have been hard to lose that top 8 position, but to give it away to a friend. I mean, I guess there's no better way to do it. But you got to come back and you got to get your own victory not too long after that at Thunderstruck. What can you tell me about that experience and kind of righting the wrong, so to speak?
Oh man, I feel like after winning that, I feel like it was worth losing at Evo. Honestly, I dodged a bullet from winning that tournament because you know how the LCQ worked afterwards, right? It's like 4 LCQs in a row. Like I dodged all of that. I was just in the finals immediately. So I feel like it was worth it. I felt great after winning that one. Even though I had some self-doubts too. I was kind of like, I did lose Evo that one time because I think there wasn't a tournament that I went to after that, I don't believe, besides Thunderstruck. So I was kind of having some self-doubts like, I hope I do well. I'm going to try my best, but I hope, I can actually end up winning this. Because from the tournament, it was definitely winnable, So I was like, I think I can do this. And once I started playing, I was in the zone. Like, I was really determined to win, and, I ended up winning. So I was super proud of that one for sure.
It's amazing. I want to know, do you actually have a Dragon Ball?
Oh yes, I do actually. It's amazing. It was absolutely worth losing Evo. Absolutely.
For everybody that doesn't know, in this, there was only a couple spots available to winners of tournaments, of which you got one of the coveted spots, which puts you almost to superstar status at that point for an otherwise breakneck year already. Leading up to the World Tour Finals with Red Bull, the final summoning, what was that period like? Knowing that it's coming and that's going to be there.
Like the Dragon Ball?
No, like so when you won Thunderstruck 2018, it set you up so that you could then go to the Red Bull final summoning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what was that process like leading up to it? Is there Was there anything special that they did for the players, or what was there? I don't know what it's like to go to the most competitive tournament in the world. What can you tell us about it?
Well, pretty much, like, once I won Thunderstruck, they basically told me, all right, you're good to go. You basically only have to worry about the finals, which is only a top 8 bracket. While they didn't really, you know, obviously there was prize money and the trophies, but other than that, they didn't really like actually like reward me with anything else than that.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I think the biggest reward is not having to, you know, fight 4 different tournaments in one day just to get a spot. While, you know, I was just watching that instead of actually trying to get in the tournament. That, because I can't imagine that stress, you know, playing. I think they started at 10 a.m. and ended at like 11 p.m. I can't imagine playing Dragon Ball for that long, and it was single elimination. So if you lose once, that's it, you're out. So I feel like that was the only thing they had to give me. Just once I was in, that's all I cared about. They didn't have to give me anything else. I dodged all of that stress. I can't imagine that stress, honestly.
Well, just that alone is a huge gift to ease your mind going into such a competition. And I'm sure it gave you opportunity to sit back and relax and actually watch the competition some.
Yeah, exactly.
To learn,
you know, I wasn't stressing. I wasn't really stressing all of like getting in and anything. Like the emotion in that venue during those 4 LCQs was just sad, you know. It was like everyone's like just dead souls walking around in there. It was pretty bad. Like I'm glad I was not part of that. I was just watching and enjoying it, you know.
Tell me you're just walking around with a smirk on your face and a Dragon Ball and your Gohan hat, just like chilling.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just walking around and everyone's looking at me like with that smug face, like, you really dodged this, did you? I was like, I definitely did. I'm here, man. I'm up there.
Hey, your light turned off a little bit. It's a little bit hard to see.
Oh, sorry. I think I'll just turn on this light. Hold on. It's because it's getting darker. You know, NJ turns dark at 5.
Yeah, 5 o'clock. You're so north, yeah. Ooh, that's a pretty chair.
Is that better?
That's better. Yeah, it's a pretty looking chair you got there.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I didn't get to hear what.
No, it's better. Yeah, I said that's a pretty good looking chair you got there.
All right, thank you. I love this chair. It's godly.
I'm glad you like it. So that period of time we were talking about where you were already like a made man in the wings watching this competition go down, you actually changed your lineup. You end up pulling Sellout and putting Bardock in. What can you tell me about the decision to do that?
I felt like the reason I mean, with my team, the way I play my team is no matter what, I want Piccolo and Vegeta. Those are my favorite characters in Dragon Ball, period. So I realized, like, because Cell went through a bunch of nerfs, because he was actually one of the best characters in the game in the beginning. So that was the reason I picked him, because I got to at least play at least one top tier in my team. Since, like, you know, it's a team game, so I can't just all pick. Like, since I play really competitive, I can't just all pick characters that, you know, that I just want to play. I have to at least play a pretty decent team, because everyone else is playing broken teams, you know, the best teams that they can possibly pick. So I can't really nerf myself and just, you know, not pick a strong team. So I picked Cell because of that, and it worked out for me. But then I realized that Bardock fits so much better than Cell ever did. Like, because especially since Cell was just getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, and it got to the point where Cell is only good with certain teams now. Before, you can put him anywhere, but nowadays he definitely needs like a different team entirely. He does not work with my team at all. And to top it off, he's also a big body character, which means he's a taller character, which opens up another mix-up. So I have two tall I would have had 2 tall characters on my team. That gets mixed up ridiculously because they're just tall. It's just a weird mix-up where if you're taller, you get like some crazy mix-up that off of pretty much anything, and it's unfair. So for me to have 2 characters like that, it just hurt me. And the fact that Cell kept getting nerfed, I was like, all right, man, it's time for Bardock. He fits way better, and he's short. So that's why I decided. And I think it's a 10 times better team. I actually think I'm going to keep using it still. It's so much better. I'm glad I changed.
How do you think that playing in a fighting game that has balance updates like that impacts the way that you perform as compared to a Smash Ultimate type fighting competitor or a classic Street Fighter competitor who have a relatively static game set? Do you think it changes the way that you think about the game or have to practice, or is one just like the other?
I feel like you gotta, as soon as another patch comes out, everyone is looking for new teams. So absolutely, like, as soon as anything changes, I gotta consider all the options again. So, you know, Dragon Ball gets patched quite a lot, actually. I think there's been like 4 patches in just 1 year, which is kind of ridiculous considering the studio who made it. They usually patch games only once a year. So for them to patch that game 4 times, it made me consider like quite a lot of teams, you know? Mm-hmm. So obviously as patches went on, and you just gotta adapt, you know? I love the game, so I'm just not gonna stop playing just because I don't like something. I just gotta adapt. So I decided to pick up Bardock, and that was probably the best move.
Nice. Well, you've clearly been making progress that's taken you to the highest tier. And now I know there's still more progress to make in that highest tier, but you're in the game and you're pushing it. After you've got that high and got to that highest competitive bracket in one breakneck year, is there anything to change? Is there anything to fix? Where do you go from here to push higher?
That's a really hard question, because even me, you know, I've only been in the competitive scene for a year, so that's a question that I'm not even too sure, honestly. At this point, I feel like I have to ask like the OGs of the competitor. You know, I've been in the game for only a year. Wow, some of the like all the competitors that I play against at the highest level, they've been in 6 years, 10 years, you know, 15 years. While me, a one measly year, you know, they probably know so much more than I do, and I'm honestly not too sure. I'm just gonna keep practicing as hard as I can, but when it comes to like, I feel like the mental game is also something that I don't truly understand as much as, you know, the people that have been in this for a long time. So I'm honestly not too sure, but hopefully I find the answers soon.
Well, going back to the OGs and fighting, there's really few better than your near neighbor Nairo, and you got to spend some time with him during the Sony Crackle episode. Was there anything that he taught you, or kind of trained you about the competitive mindset? I know you're different games and all, but as far as the competition is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. When I went to his house, he told me straight up, like, you always got to figure out your opponent, because he told me himself that they were gonna be watching me, you know, and it actually happened. So it was like, all right, he knew that this is probably something he went through. So he was telling me like a whole bunch of stuff about how pretty much you always got to be on top of your opponents, because they're always going to be watching you now. So he's definitely taught me a lot. I probably gotta ask him again though, because, you know, at this point it's been a year. You know, I need probably some more advice. You know, I'm still young. He's been in this way longer, so I'm sure he got something. He has something for me. You know, I just gotta ask.
I mean, he's got an amazing model to follow, and the fighting tournament itself, compared to larger games like Dota invitational prize pools, the size scaling is different. So in order to be an effective professional, you kind of do have to have that presence that Nairo has collected over the years. And your channel itself is making some decent progress. You've got a really high average concurrent viewer with 431 average viewers, and for only 21,000 Twitch followers, which is still really good. That's a high ratio. They're interested to watch you. How have you experienced this kind of streamer / competitor lifestyle, and how are you growing into it?
For me, it's actually probably the greatest thing ever, since like the fact that, you know, I can, you know, play the game as much as possible, as well as, you know, have a following base and everything. I think it really helps me as a competitor, you know, like 400 viewers is just really good for someone that's been doing this for just one year, which that's crazy, honestly. So it motivates me a lot more to just keep playing the game at all times. You know, I've always been doing that, but it makes me play it for like 6 hours in a row, stuff like that, because it's fun having the chat, talking to me and stuff. So it makes me practice more, it makes me do everything. And as a competitor, I try to balance both of them, because both of them they like coexist beautifully together. You do it, you get more people to watch the stream. You entertain people or play on stream a lot, they're gonna watch you play tournament, So it's like it's perfect together. So I feel like gotta balance them both for sure.
Have you noticed anything that you do? Obviously, winning the tournaments is the best thing you can do in this field, right? But were there any techniques that you found that have kind of helped along your stream a little bit? Maybe in getting audience or just your ability to stream better? What can you tell me about the learning process there?
I feel like doing well is probably the most that I can do at a tournament for people to watch me as well. I mean, because there's not really much talking when it comes to like just a fighting game tournament. It's more about how you present yourself and how you play, So I try to just play the best Piccolo I can possibly be, and I think that alone, and I think my presentation, my name and stuff like that, I think that draws people in to my stream, and with the stream, I feel like as long as I be true to myself and stuff, the people will follow me to tournaments, and more people will talk about me, more people will transition to both back and forth.
I think they're absolutely connected in the way that you've described.
Yeah.
HookGangGod is a brand now, right? You have your own merch store. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Cool. I've actually been doing pretty well with that, which is also amazing. I'm super happy about that.
Hell yeah, I'm happy for you. I want to know a little bit about, without getting too specific, kind of how you see yourself moving. This is a business, right? You are a professional, and you get paid for your services. So in order to do this full time and live the dream where you get your own place, how do you find yourself making that happen? Are you relying maybe on prize money and competition, or are you pushing that merch side, or like how are you developing your business, so to speak?
I feel like I think my most income is definitely from Twitch. So like I said before, to get the viewers, to get the people watching, you got to do well in tournament. And obviously when you do well in tournament, you also get, prize money from that. So I feel like, doing well equals more revenue pretty much. So obviously merch and all that is other side gigs that help me out as well. But, I feel like to fully flesh out my brand, I have to continuously like start doing well. And once people are into the stream, I usually keep them, since a lot of people really seem to like my stream, and and I would say I'm pretty entertaining. So as long as I can continue to do well and bring them to my stream, my revenue will keep going up. So as long as I can sustain that, I think I'll definitely be all right with that, since it's doing really well, and it's just going up. It's been only 1 year, and I already have like 500,000 plus views on my Twitch channel, like overall, which is in 1 year, that's crazy. Like,
absolutely solid. I mean, my business is to basically review people's numbers and determine their success and rates of success, and determine is he going fast or not. And you're breakneck. I don't know how you're holding on. It's really kind of cool to see you do it with such a joy as you do it. You're really having fun, and it's really...
I absolutely love this, man. I couldn't wish for anything better than this. This was the dream. It's literally the dream to actually stream. I would always watch these streamers, and they're just playing a game, and people are there like loving them and just actually talking to them. They actually care about them. I'm just like, dang, I wish that was me, man. Like they'll have like 2,000 viewers and stuff like that, and I'm like, damn, these many people really watch this one guy, and it's crazy. They all support him and everything. So I'm just like, I hope to be that one day, and I'm really growing there. I'm really getting up there, so it's amazing.
Do you have any plans on going to TwitchCon next year, or did you go to last year?
I didn't go to last year. I could have, though. I was there. I think that was the summit week. I was there in LA, but I just didn't end up going. I didn't know why. Actually, I think I was just too late to ask my sponsor. Honestly, they could have got me in, but I feel like I just didn't ask quick enough. But next time I'll try to definitely consider that, because, you know, that will definitely help my brand. Absolutely. You know, I'm in a space where just a whole bunch of streamers are there, and, you know, who knows who I'll meet there. So I'll definitely try to go out there next time.
I think you'll love it. It's so weird to just be standing there and have people come up to you and start taking photographs and, you know, ask, and then just stand around all these other people who you have no idea who they are, and they're all getting asked for autographs too. It's just this incredibly humanizing, like, oh, whoa, this is big. This is really big, you know?
There's a whole bunch of big people, big streamers. Everyone there is just playing video games, and they're all huge. So that doesn't sound like a great experience.
But but it's basically just huge, and it's content. And the biggest content that you can really make in the gaming industry kind of creation is the productions that come from the larger game studios, like Sony Crackle. What can you tell me about the experience of getting picked up and having that feature set done on you, having them follow you around? Was it fun? Was it weird? Like, you got to go back to your old stomping grounds and play. Like, what was it like?
I mean, it definitely was a really fun experience, honestly. It was something I've never, ever thought. You know, I would never thought that I would get mic'd up and a guy is just follow me in my neighborhood with a camera asking me stuff. So it was definitely a different experience. It was super fun. You know, I enjoyed the fact that they're actually making a show about me. You know, like, again, this is all mind-blowing. Last year I was at a theater. This year they're making a show and Shaq is in it and I'm in it and I'm the main star. Like, what? How does this even happen? You know, it's like it was amazing. I was super happy to do it the whole time, because there's really a documentary about me in a year. I can't like stress that enough. It's been a year and I have a documentary with Shaq in it.
Yeah,
like,
it's
amazing.
It's hard to imagine where you could even go from here. You've gone so high so fast. Do you have expectations within yourself, or are you just so content with where you are and riding the dream? Like, what can you tell me about your state of mind as you go through this?
You know, since, you know, of course my parents beat the how do I say, they beat it in my head that pretty much, like, you know, it's, you never know when this will, you know, stop working or stuff like that. So I'm just like, you know, I'm always worried about how far I can go in this, but at the same time, it's going so well for me that I think I can sustain it. So, you know, I'm kind of like worried, but also excited. You know, like, I'm making sure that I don't go in this just blinded and just, you know, just maybe somehow mess it up. But I hope to just keep doing what I love to do, and I hope it brings, you know, all the numbers that I hope to want. Obviously, right now, I'm pretty content with the numbers that I have. It's pretty huge. Like, recently, I've been getting like 800 viewers, 900 viewers, and stuff like that. So those numbers are just unimaginable. So, and it just keeps going up too. Every stream just keeps going up. So, I mean, my expectation is just to survive doing this, what I love. That's all I want. I just want to survive doing what I love.
Yeah, I think you should have a lot to be hopeful for. I mean, so one of our core aptitudes is digital research, online trends and search traffic data, and it's really exciting to see when new games hits these platforms and when people platforms out. There's a natural surge as people come aware of a game where they will go find information about a game, where that person who's there they find becomes their favorite person. So since you've latched onto this game at such a high visual, so many people know of you in relation to this game, it gives you a certain advantage. So as the game gains popularity over the years, you will be basically synonymous with it. And it's a lot like people getting started on Twitch in the early hand, where they were just there as the platform got popular, and they rode that wave up. So the only issue with this is sometimes if they get away, right? But DBZ, this leads to a question, I swear. But DBZ itself is an unusual new entry into the fighting scene. It's a lot like Street Fighter in its archetype and its structure, but it has an amazingly overwhelming IP attached to it. And as such, its adoption's just been breakneck across the world. With over 2 million copies sold in the first couple of months, it's really crushing it. And the fanfare on it is already 20, 30 years old for lots of people.
Yeah.
It gives the concept that there's going to be a lot of longevity to this, that it's going to last for a long period of time. How do you see this as the person on the ground interacting with the fans themselves and the way that they're responding to the game? Do you see this kind of long-term fandom, or is it coming across to you more like a Fortnite kind of burn and turn model that may not be here in 3 years? Because Street Fighter's still here.
Yeah. I feel like the fact that it's Dragon Ball goes such a long way, you know. Like you said, the fandom is like 30 years old. You know, people will ride or die Dragon Ball forever. You know, and I feel like with fighting game players, if they love a game, they will absolutely ride or die. That's just how the mentality has always been. So, and a lot of people love this game. So I feel like as long as the people, like as long as Bandai supports tournaments for it and, you know, supports World Tour and stuff like that, people will always keep playing this game. You know, it's DBZ. That's absolutely one of the biggest anime, biggest just anything in the world. You know, who doesn't know who Goku is? Who doesn't know Vegeta? Like, you know, this is literally, it's similar to how Street Fighter 4 started. When Street Fighter 4 came out, it was the biggest fighting game by far. Literally everyone started playing it. It's the same way with Dragon Ball, you know. As soon as it came out, a whole bunch of different communities started trying it out. Just obviously the DBZ fans, every fighting game just gave it a shot, you know. So I'm hoping, you know, I'm really hopeful for the future of this game. And, you know, like I said, as long as the people support it, it will always go a long way. Because it's a fun game, a great game, and of course it's Dragon Ball. The biggest selling point. It's still Dragon Ball.
I am with you 100%. And as a spiritual successor to like a Marvel vs. Capcom type fighting game,
yeah, exactly.
It's really been wanted for a long time. So I'm just tickled. And the idea of the adoption compared to Street Fighter, which they tried to make an anime, which is, you know, it's okay if you ever watch them, but there's nothing compared to the Dragon Ball Z franchise. I take it, or do you like Dragon Ball Z as a franchise? Have you seen the episodes?
Of course, I grew up on it, man. I played literally every, like, all Budokai 1 through 3, Tenkaichi. I played all of it, man. I've always loved Dragon Ball. I mean, honestly, once I got into fighting games in 2012, I was like, why don't they make an anime that's like this? Like, they're making, like, Persona is literally an anime fighting game. Why can't they actually make an anime fighting game, you know? Like, because Persona is a video game that was turned into a fighting game, you know? Like, and I always thought about it. I'm like, if Dragon Ball were to do it, it would blow up immediately. And then to top it off, it was made by the people who made Persona. So it was like a dream come true. Like, when I first heard of it, I was like, wow, a Dragon Ball game made by ArcSys, which is the people who made Persona and Dragon Ball. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe it's actually happening now. This is literally what people have been wanting forever. Like, a true, actual fighting game. Like, Street Fighter, like a legitimate competitive fighting game. You know, Dragon Ball has had all these arena fighters and stuff that don't really, you know, survive that long because of the fact that, you know, it's not really like a true quotes a true fighting game like how Street Fighter is, you know, like a traditional one.
Yeah, the three-dimensional access and the Xenoverse type structures are just so difficult to actually fight reliably, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, it's hard to explain, but I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. Like, Street Fighter and Xenoverse are definitely not even on the same field of video games, you know? It's not even the same thing at all. So for Dragon Ball to finally come out with a legitimate fighting game like Street Fighter, it blew up. That's why it's doing so well, because this is what people wanted forever, honestly.
It's probably why you're doing so well as well, it sounds like. From with experience in Persona and a lifetime fan of Dragon Ball itself, you have an understanding of how the mechanics should work.
Exactly.
And you've almost been practicing for it for years before the game ever actually came out.
Yeah, it's literally, like, I remember in school I would play this game for, like, Persona for hours and hours, and my friends are just like, why are you doing this, man? This game's not even that popular. Like, why are you spending so much time? I'm just like, this game is so fun, man. It's just so fun. And now look at me. The game that I've been practicing for, the game that I've been practicing for finally came out, and it transferred over so beautifully. Since it's made by the same people, it's almost, it feels the same to me, you know? It transferred over so beautifully. So that's why when I picked the game up, I was already like killing the online rankings so fast. Like I got to 3, like I think the game came out in January. I actually didn't get the game until a month later because I wasn't even in NJ at the time. So once I came back home a month later, I got the game, and immediately started killing it, like grinding the ranks from, I think I would play from 5 p.m. to like 10 a.m. the next morning. Like I would play for hours, like 10 hours, 11 hours. I loved the game so much.
No wonder they fired you.
Yeah, I literally got fired because of that. I came in, I think I had to work at 11 a.m. I definitely woke up at like 6 p.m. or something like that. It was bad. I think I deserved it.
I think it worked out. I think this was all a big fate thing at this point, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't even sound true at this point. It's like, wow, you got fired at that late, and then, oh, magically you're just good at Dragon Ball.
The perfect game came out.
It's like, you can't make this stuff up, man. It's like, it just happened. That's what happened. That's crazy. It's fate. It had to be fate. It had to be. I played all these years, these anime games that aren't as popular all these years, and it all paid off.
Dedication.
Just randomly. Yeah, just randomly.
What advice could you give to somebody that would like to follow your path as well? There seems a lot of just serendipity and fate going on we're joking about, but there is a clear path that you followed. If somebody wanted to follow in your footsteps, so to speak, what would be the best advice you could give them?
The best advice is just play what you love to play. That's literally why it worked for me. I played what I love to play, and then it just all paid off. Maybe, you know, you never know. Maybe one day the game that you love to play will extremely blow up, and then next thing you know, you're one of the best players. That's legit what happened to me. As long as you have the passion for the game that you're playing, I'm sure anyone can do it, you know? It's just, you just got to put in the time and put in the passion in the game, and you'll definitely be where you want to be. Just got to keep practicing, man.
Well, you're clearly living the dream. What is your favorite thing about this dream?
My favorite about this is definitely not having to sleep whenever, you know. I think that's a luxury to be able to just wake up at 7 p.m. or 5. I mean, obviously to some that's dumb because some people are like, why are you waking up at 7 p.m.? But that's a luxury, man. I don't really have to wake up to go to work. I don't have to get up and go, you know, do something. Obviously I got obligations, but, you know, I don't have to like actually, you know, well, for me, definitely since I've always been playing so late, it's always bothered me to like, I would play from like, I don't know, 9 p.m. to like 4 a.m. and then I have work at 8 a.m. So for that to be gone, I'm just like, I'm so happy for that. It's a blessing. Obviously, getting paid to stream is one of the best things ever. But being able to sleep whenever I want that's love right there. I love it.
Get to do what you want to do, how you want to do it, at the time that you want to do it. That's success.
Exactly. That's honestly the best thing I could have wished for sure.
You're ranked really high online, and this information is public, and your name is now renowned. Do you find yourself getting requested to teach people often? Are people asking for tutorial guides or?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been asked like plenty of stuff like that. Like people have been asking me to make YouTube tutorials. They've been asking me to pay, like they'll pay me to tutor them. Sadly, I always decline because I feel like I'm the worst teacher, honestly. Like if someone paid me, I feel like, damn, how am I supposed to teach? Like I actually have to somehow like write this down on a blackboard or something. Like I have no idea. I have no skills in tutoring like that. I can give people advice from my gameplay and from my perspective of the game, but for me to sit down and actually teach someone what to do, how to do, why this worked, to think this happened, like stuff like that is way too hard for me. You know, I've even asked like other players this as well, like SonicFox, for example. I asked him, I was like, when people ask you how to get good, what do you tell them? He literally shrugged his shoulders at me. He was like, I don't know. I'm just like, I feel the same exact way. I don't know. I play, and all the training that I did, it just paid off.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain why I'm super good, but you know, it's just, I guess I'm just blessed with it. You know, it's just hard to just transfer that over to someone else. You know, it's rough. Those requests.
Well, it seems like a lifetime of training that's given it to you. So to pull out the lessons, it'd be difficult because it wasn't necessarily delivered to you in that way. Exactly.
You know, no one ever taught me anything about fighting games. I just picked up Persona because it looked cool and people were playing, or high school students were fighting inside a high school, and it looked cool because it looked like anime. I bought it, and I just so happened to start getting good at it. You know, I was competitive. I got good at it, and that's history from there. I just kept playing them after that. I bought Guilty Gear, and then after that, you know, Dragon Ball came out, which all made by the same company. So it was just perfect.
So stick to one production house maybe, and play all of them.
I can't even say that because like you never know. Like maybe one day, maybe you're just like playing anime games one day, and then the next time you play Smash, maybe you become a monster at that, you know. Who knows? I guess the only thing I could say is you just have to be passionate about something. About one of the games you play, you just have to love it so much that you want to become the best. That's pretty much all I could say.
Nice.
When it comes to that. I have no idea what the formula is for someone to become one of the best players, you know. Who knows?
Well, it seems like there's a good opportunity to come up to y'all who are the best players and to translate your skills into a tutorial guide and get you to sign off on it, you know, via HookGangGod, you know.
Yeah, maybe, but you know, now that I have no I don't have as much obligations now, I'm even more lazier. So to get me to do something like that is like that's gonna take me a long time to do. Because I am always been lazy. And now I'm even more lazier since I don't even have a job, but to play video games now.
Well, you're 1 year in on an amazing new career. I enjoy every day. If you want to sleep until 7 p.m. to hone your skills, you do that, right? I think you've earned the right to say year 2 goes my way.
Yeah, I haven't even slept yet. That's the funny part.
Oh, really?
I think I woke up at 7 p.m. I haven't slept yet. It's almost been 24 hours and 2 hours.
And you've just been playing Dragon Ball all night long?
Yep. Well, I was playing some Red Dead too. You know, I gotta play some other stuff sometimes. But I played Dragon Ball for the majority of my time. It was like 6-hour stream, and then after that, I took a break. Now I was playing some Red Dead. You know, I guess I don't know. I gotta sleep more. That's what I need to do. I gotta tell that to people. You guys gotta sleep more. I gotta sleep more. I don't know why I do this.
Well, Eduardo, you've been fantastic. You've given us a lot of really good insight and information here, and it's really fun to watch you go through this and enjoy this as much as you are. I look forward to seeing your path grow into being the next Nairo for Energy, and that host's true American favorite.
Of course, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to even be able to be on a platform to do something like this. You know, it's a blessing. I love it.
I'm going to exit out this interview with a bit of a softball question we'd like to ask everybody. In this field, we interact with a lot of different tools and a lot of different pieces that make up our setups. And sometimes it ends, and with all those different pieces, gamers tend to get a little disproportionately affectionate about one of them. It's whether it's that controller that's just right or the headphones that have just the right dynamic range. There's always some peripheral that you just really freaking love. It doesn't have to be your OPSEAT. But what's your favorite peripheral?
I know it's gonna be stereotypical, but I have to say it's the OPSEAT. You know why?
What's that?
I remember once I realized this when I took a vacation in LA for a month, and I was streaming on a laptop. And while I was streaming, I was like, wow, I can't believe how much I need that OPSEAT right now. Like, my back was broken on the seat back in LA, and I'm just like, damn, I didn't realize how much I need that chair. Like, the chair literally fixes my posture the right way. I play like this while I'm over there. I'm like, damn, I actually need that chair. You know, obviously, also one of my favorites that I gotta have the right controller too. But the chair, it really helped me so much. It made me miss it when I didn't even realize I needed it. You know, it was something like, it was one of those where like I didn't even realize it until it was gone.
You had like a woke moment. You're like, whoa.
Yeah,
I like that chair.
Yeah, and once I came back home, I was like, thank God. Thank God for that chair, man. Thank God. Oh man, my posture was terrible, man. I'm so glad that I have this chair. Honestly, it's so bad, but I love it.
Well, we're happy you enjoy it. If you ever have any questions or needs or ideas to how we can make it better, please let us know. We can make a Hook edition one day and just figure it out.
Oh man, that would be too sick. I would probably leave it in the plastic still or something. I gotta keep that for life, man. That's like another trophy, basically.
Maybe one day. Keep it up and we'll find some way to help you grow as much as we possibly can. We like what you do and the way that you do it and the joy that you have for it. And if there's anything we can do to help support you, just please let us know.
All right. Thank you so much, man. I super appreciate that. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. But to end this out, would you like to leave our guests with any information here? Maybe how they can find your stream or come get more information from HookGangGod?
To find my stream is Eduardo_Hook. Sadly, someone's took my name, so I can't use that as my Twitch. So it's www. I don't even remember. What was it? Is it Twitch TV? You know,
Twitch.tv/Eduardo_Hook.
Yeah, _Hook. There you go. Yeah. I'm still a noob at this. You know, it's been a year. But yeah, my Twitter is HookGangGod, and you know, I got an Instagram also, HookGangGod. You know, that's pretty much all where you can find me. You know, you can join my Discord as well. It'll be in my Twitch links and stuff like that. Other than that, that's pretty much it. My Twitch is absolutely the most important though. Like all the other stuff is like, you know, Twitter's cool, Instagram's cool, but Twitch is, you know, that's where I'm at. That's where I want to be at. Well,
you heard the man, everyone. Go follow, go subscribe. Enjoy the man's content. It's really good. You're going to like it. Well, thank you again for joining us. Infinite thank yous. You're a superstar, man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.